My name is Kobe Jones, and I happily welcome you to Alcott's virtual graduation for the class of 2020. Tonight, we finally crossed the finish line of the 4-year-long race we know as high school. Before anything, I would like to congratulate my peers on finishing this race despite its twists, turns, hills, and challenging terrain. I would also like to thank the parents and family of each graduate, smiling as they watch this moment tonight. Though recent events have slowed us down, we have still kept a steady pace in our journey to starting the marathon of our lives as adults. I have nothing but faith in my peers and their future plans to better not only their quality of education, but life as well. Both the class of 2020 and I thank each teacher for being right beside us this entire 4-year span. I tip my cap and tassel to everyone involved in getting this marvelous group of people ready to cross the finish line. Before we officially start the ceremony, I ask that everyone relish in the warmth that comes with the joy of finishing this race. While we relish in that warmth, I also ask that in an effort to honor the lives of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and every other life lost to police brutality, we have a moment of silence. As I end this speech, I will leave you with this. The system of this world is broken. It is not our job to change it or even attempt to fix it. Our job is to build a new one in the images of equality, justice, and love. Thank you.
Dear principal, teachers, parents, and fellow students, good afternoon. I hope that in the midst of this situation that we experience nowadays, you are doing well and staying safe. Buenas tardes a todos. Espero que en medio de esta situación que estamos experimentando, todos se encuentren bien. Today, I will be introducing Allison Arevalo, a hardworking student who came to this country only 5 years ago. She strove not only to learn English, but also to excel as a good student. Hoy estaré presentándoles a Allison Arevalo, una estudiante muy trabajadora que 5 años atrás llegó a este país en busca de un futuro mejor, que se esforzó no solo por aprender inglés, sino también para sobresalir como una buena estudiante. Her first 4 years in the country were not easy, as she was unable to communicate with her teachers very well and did not have the appropriate help for her situation. However, she worked so hard every day until she became the exemplary student that she is today. Sus primeros 4 años en el país fueron muy difíciles, al no poderse comunicar con sus maestros y no tener la ayuda adecuada a su situación. Ella siguió trabajando duro hasta llegar a ser la estudiante ejemplar que es hoy en día. I will also introduce our principal, Moody, who always goes beyond to connect with her students. También les voy a presentar a nuestra directora, Moody, quien siempre va más allá para conectar con sus estudiantes. Alcott High School has less than 400 students, which means that we can get more attention from our principal and teachers who dedicate every day to prepare us to be successful. Our principal goes to every classroom to inspect and to share with us her journey and experience, especially about how she learned Spanish. Alcott tiene menos de 400 estudiantes. Esto quiere decir que podemos obtener más atención de nuestra directora y maestros que se empeñan cada día para prepararnos para que seamos exitosos. Nuestra directora va a cada salón de clases para inspeccionar y compartir con nosotros lo que ha vivido en su vida, especialmente cómo ella aprendió español. Even as a small school, we have a dedicated principal who fights for us students to also have the same experiences as large schools. Aún siendo la escuela pequeña, nosotros tenemos una directora valiente que pelea para que nosotros los estudiantes tengamos las mismas experiencias que las escuelas grandes. I am happy to announce 2 people worthy of admiration, Allison Arevalo and our principal, Moody. Estoy muy contento de anunciarles a 2 personas dignas de admiración por ser luchadoras y persistentes, Allison Arevalo y directora Moody. I don't know. Can I record this again?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Allison Arevalo. I came here to the United States 5 years ago as an immigrant. My biggest fear was going to school because of the language, and today I am so honored to share with everyone my story. Yo nací en Ecuador, en la ciudad de Guayaquil, donde viví mis 13 años de infancia. Gracias a Dios, mi familia y yo tuvimos la oportunidad de venir a los Estados Unidos legalmente. Decidimos venir a Chicago porque la mayor parte de mi familia se encuentra aquí y el propósito de venir a los Estados Unidos siempre fue tener una mejor educación.
My name is Grace Moody, and I am the principal of Alcott College Prep High School. I grew up in Cicero, a town just west of Chicago. We were one of the first Mexican families to move into Cicero, and my sisters were chased home after school every day because the town was racist. So even though my whole family was fluent in speaking Spanish, they didn't teach us how to speak Spanish. I have now learned that what I experienced was called racial erasure. Despite these setbacks, I was the first person in my family to graduate from college and become a teacher. When I was a new teacher, I had a student who was hurt and she needed help. She looked to me for help and spoke to me in Spanish because I looked like I was supposed to speak Spanish, and I couldn't help her because I didn't have the language to support her. The word that comes to mind when I think about this event is helplessness. Language connects us, and it is vital and helps us to have our voices be heard.
When I arrived in Chicago, I enrolled in my neighborhood school, a SCAM school. My first day going to school in Chicago, I had no idea how different the school journey from here was different from Ecuador. Here it looked easier. The students had all the resources to have a better education, which was really surprising for me. My 2 years in middle school, I was guided by my teacher. Her name was Alma Govea. Miss Govea used to help me to translate my work and my homework because at that time I didn't understand anything. Thanks to her dedication, I graduated with honor rolls, and she was the one who gave me the confidence to trust Alcott as my next 4 years.
As a principal of a Chicago public high school, one of my roles is to recruit students and to keep our classrooms filled. A major way that I accomplish this is through partnerships with elementary school counselors and administrators. In June of 2016, I needed help translating school tours into Spanish. A former student who I kept in touch with graduated from U of I that May with a degree in education. I hired her so she could help me translate my tours into Spanish and to make our Spanish-speaking families feel more comfortable. During one of those tours, the counselor asked if my student had found a teaching position yet, and I said no. They invited her to interview, and she got a job at Scammon Elementary School, and her name is Alma Govea.
My first year as a freshman was the easiest one. Thankfully, I was part of the ESL class. I had Mr. Keenan as my teacher, who was one of the most caring teachers I ever met my whole life. After he left, I started struggling in high school. My sophomore year, I didn't have an ESL class, and during those times, Alcott didn't feel like home.
Throughout her first 2 years at Alcott, Allison's language skills continued to grow. Students in the bilingual program are required to take an access test each year. The access test measures a student's English proficiency. Allison showed huge progress in the reading and writing sections. Her scores were almost qualifying her to pass out of the bilingual program. The part of the test that was holding her back was the speaking portion of the access test. Allison needed to gain confidence in her English speaking skills. During her sophomore year, I recognized that Allison needed help and asked other Spanish-speaking teachers to check in with her. I struggled with the fact that I had a beautiful human being who felt lost and unsupported due to language barriers.
During my junior year, I went to Alcott with my parents to talk to Miss Moody. Being an English language learner and not having extra support from a class made me think that I had to transfer to another school because I wanted to be in a classroom with bilingual speakers.
In the middle of September, Allison and her parents arrived in my office. I knew she struggled the year before, and during the meeting, Allison spoke softly and expressed her frustrations to tell me that she wanted to transfer to a school that had more Spanish-speaking speakers. During this meeting, I remembered the student that I told you all about earlier during my first years of teaching. I explained to Allison that I too want to speak Spanish and my parents didn't teach me. After that experience with my student, I went to Mexico for a Spanish immersion trip. I learned how to speak Spanish, but when I returned, I didn't practice it because I was embarrassed of how I would sound. So I shared with Allison. I said, Cuando yo era 25 años, yo fui a México para enseñar español.
Cuando yo tenía 25 años, yo fui a México para aprender español.
Okay, and she corrected me just like that. Cuando yo tenía 25 años, yo fui a México para aprender español. And when I spoke in Spanish and when I sounded the way that I sounded, Allison and I kind of had a connection, and she understood that I understood where she was coming from a little bit. I asked her to stay at Alcott, and I promised that we would support her and we would struggle through this together.
My teachers and my principal did everything to support me and help me. Alcott gave me one of the best teachers I had the opportunity to work with and learn with. Miss Havley, my ESL teacher, she did everything to be able to work with me, to help me succeed, and gain my confidence in my speaking. My principal showed me all the power I had in my hands to make great things, and not only for me, but for all my ESL classmates and the students who could relate to my journey.
This year, Allison has grown. She is so much more confident. She is in charge of our open house tours in Espanol. She is the official translator for parent nights, bilingual parent meetings. She's a homecoming queen. She's a leader on the soccer team. Miss Mendez said in AP Spanish, she's the teacher of the class. She's a leader in the ESL classroom and the ESL community, especially with the freshmen who speak Spanish. She also translates for Miss Hafley. Mr. Shu said, Allison has learned to advocate for herself. Ms. Castillo writes, she was quiet and only spoke a little bit of English when I met her freshman year. It's amazing to see her growth during her time at Alcott. She has become a confident, independent, and strong leader. She is an amazing and inspiring young woman. Dr. Brake writes, Allison has always been a kind, thoughtful, and conscientious student. Building on these strengths, she has become a strong, brave, skilled, and deeply warm, compassionate young leader. She embodies what Alcott stands for and what an Alcott education can be for our students. We are so very proud of her and can't wait to see how her bright future unfolds. Mr. Beck said, when Allison was a freshman at Alcott College Prep, I would give her assignments in Spanish and try my best to seat her next to a student who could help me explain directions to her. She was extremely shy and hesitated to ask for help. She would spend hours translating and would turn in assignments in Spanish. The remarkable quality of Allison is she always gives 100% effort. She gave her best effort in every single task, every single day, no matter what. I cannot speak Spanish, so I couldn't communicate my instructions clearly to her. Nonetheless, she would smile, try her best, and give her best effort, no matter how bad my attempt to explain things might have been. Mrs. Hafley writes, Allison has taught me more about fearlessness and compassion than I have ever learned in my life thus far. Allison trusted Alcott and herself, and watching her grow these last few years has been a privilege that I will forever cherish. I cannot wait to see how Allison continues to move the world. Fast forward to today, Allison not only speaks, writes, and understands English better than most native English speakers, but she's a confident, intelligent, and compassionate person. She has grown so much, not just in her ability to speak a completely different language, but in advocating for herself, for making her voice heard, and for having the confidence to do so. Allison, I am so proud of your hard work. You are remarkable, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for you. Ms. Campbell says, I have seen Allison blossom into the amazing, independent young woman she is now, and I could not be more proud. I remember during sophomore year, Allison would only present to me and Mr. Beck. Her projects were amazing, but she was too shy to share. Now Allison is speaking at graduation in front of everyone. To say I am proud is an understatement, and I am so happy that because of one goal, I will continue to be a part of her journey from now on. This fall, Dominican University will be getting a fabulous new student in Allison.
Miss Moody, Dominican University is not the only university I was accepted into. I was accepted into 4 other universities, and I got scholarships for all of them, with a total of $147,000 in scholarship money. Behind all these opportunities, I have my Wango family coordinated by Miss Campbell. She helped us with the process of choosing the best decision to be successful in our next path after high school. And she was the one of the people who gave us, who proved us how far we can go in our lives.
In Chicago Public Schools, a principal has many roles. One of the most important is being a good steward of the budget. We are charged with planning our budget based on values and needs of the school. We invest in our ESL program as well as our mission for college and career, and this includes our senior seminar courses and our One Goal program. We commit to these investments in order to help our most vulnerable populations. We all have lots of choices for Chicago Public Schools when it comes to high school. Parents, you have options to send your students to schools, and you chose Alcott. Thank you. Students, you have a choice to stay and contribute to your school community positively, and congratulations to the class of 2020 for still being here and contributing positively. Thank you. Teachers and staff, you have choices of where you want to work and where you stay working. Thank you for choosing Alcott. Dr. Brake has choices of where he wants to volunteer his days. Thank you for choosing Alcott. As a principal, I have a choice of where I want to lead, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Thank you.
Mi familia siempre estuvo apoyándome y nunca me dejaron sola. Mis hermanos son mi ejemplo a seguir y espero que estén muy orgullosos de mí. I also want to thank my teachers and my principal for all the support and hard work during these 4 years at Alcott. And obviously, I want to give a huge thanks to my friends for being there every time I needed them.
All of your stories aren't the same as Allison's, but I hope that you see a little bit of yourself in her story. Espero que te hayas sentido apoyado en Alcott.
I hope that you take the values that Alcott gave you to be part of the community.
Espero que hayas tenido compañeros, maestros y programas en Alcott que te hayan apoyado durante tu trayecto en la secundaria.
I hope all my language learners trust the process, always give your best, and never give up.
Espero que hayas ganado la confianza para superar todos los desafíos que enfrentarás en la vida.
So my 2020 class, I hope you know this is only the beginning of amazing opportunities. Keep your head up, believe in yourself, and just know that I'm proud of everyone.
2020 has challenged us in ways I would have never imagined. I hope you all will overcome your fears to speak up and speak out. Our country must agree that Black life matters. They must agree because to not agree is to go back to a system that has unfairly victimized Black people for hundreds of years. The obligation to change systems and structures is our responsibility. As a principal, I see how these systems and structures impact students of color in profound and often negative ways. It is heartbreaking, it is wrong. You may ask yourself, what do we do? What can I do? I do not have a detailed plan or answer. However, I do know what we, every single American, must recognize. We must first recognize that Black life matters because Black life does matter. Thank you and congratulations to the graduates of the Alcott College Preps class of 2020. Every year at graduation, we honor some special folks. This year, the seniors voted virtually for their Educator of the Year. The Educator of the Year is the person who we categorize as the person who helped get you to graduation day in all 4 years of your time at Alcott. A lot of teachers were nominated: Mr. Shu, Mr. Beck, Ms. Van Horsen, Ms. Hafley, Ms. Mendez, Ms. Zechner, Ms. Castillo, Mr. Harrigan, Dr. Brake. Our winner this year is Mrs. Campbell. Mrs. Campbell is our senior seminar teacher and a diverse learner teacher, and she helps students throughout all 4 years at Alcott. Congratulations, Mrs. Campbell. Our other awards are our student awards. We usually only give one award to the senior. It's called the Principal's Award. In this Principal's Award, the way that I define it is if I had to send a student to another country to represent Alcott, who embodies Alcott, who has taken advantage of all of the things that we have to offer, and who is that one person. Well, this year, the class of 2020 is so special. we couldn't choose. I asked the teachers to help me and to nominate, and we have a lot of honorable mentions this year. The first person who I want to talk about today is Ishmael Torres. Ishmael Torres is a student who, how do I put this? Got a slow start. We didn't think that Ishmael was going to graduate this year, and I'm not putting him on blast. He knows this about himself. We are so impressed by Ishmael's ability to recover and to get all of his credits taken care of. He has inspired all of us here at Alcott, and we are so proud of him. Ms. Hannah said, for his tenacity, grit, and perseverance, he should be nominated for the Principal's Award. Despite having multiple credit recovery classes this year and really struggling with his courses first semester, he kept working and doing what he needed to do in order to graduate. He had a goal, and it was to graduate from Alcott. She spoke with him in the fall about transferring to an alternative school because maybe it would be easier, but he said he wanted to stick it out and graduate from Alcott. He even passed all of his classes first semester, even though he was in 2 credit recovery classes after school, in addition to his 7 classes during the day. We're so very impressed and proud of you, Ishmael. Congratulations. Another one of our seniors who is being nominated this year and who's got an honorable mention is Adrienne Harmon, AKA my daughter. Not really, but you know. Adrienne has been a part of every aspect of Alcott throughout her 4 years. She played on multiple sports, teams, different clubs and organizations, Science Olympiad. She's always helped out and participated and attended all school events. She worked at the Boys and Girls Club and helped grow that relationship and dynamic. She earned a multitude of scholarships from the Boys and Girls Club, and she was nominated for Youth of the Year. During her senior year, she became a student that we could depend on to help us spread information, get tasks accomplished, and much more. And during remote learning, she has really risen to help with keeping her peers in contact with other teachers and being in the know. We also feel that Adrienne is a student who, after graduating, will continue to be a part of Alcott and continue to come back and give back. Ms. Sculo said Adrienne embodies Alcott. She helped a lot with the freshmen this year who were hazing her. So Ms. Sculo says thank you. Another one of our honorable mentions is Zanae Bolden. Mr. Harrigan says she is respected and well-liked by her peers. She always attempts to assist students when in need of classroom assistance. She has demonstrated great passion and energy promoting Alcott when I have observed her at open houses for Alcott. Lastly, she is an ideal student. She comes to class prepared, works hard, and can execute content at a very high level. She is a true joy to have in class and a future chef or pastry artist or president of the United States. I don't know. Good luck, Zanae, and thank you. Kobe Jones. Kobe Jones is another one of our honorable mention. He shows great classroom leadership and speaks for his communities. Thank you, Kobe, for also getting our Black Student Union off the ground and motivating Ms. Dixon to help us get that started. Mr. Silva said Kobe is such a great young man, a great combination of humor and wisdom. Thank you, Kobe. And to Brianna Reyes, she is another one of our honorable mentions. She's really smart, hardworking, cares about social justice. She is well liked by her peers and probably one of the best all-around academic students that Alcott has. Thank you, Brianna. Another honorable mention is Tawny Hawthorne. Mr. Silva said that she sees Tawny as a very wise and talented young woman. She is a quiet force, but somehow she is driven. She is always well-informed and forms her opinions based on in-depth reading and pondering. In class, she has always been prepared as a participant and working in collaboration with her peers. And Tawny represented the Chicago Scholars, where she got to meet, what's his name? Oh, LeBron James. And finally, the winner of the class of 2020's Principal Award is a young man who is an Eagle Scout. I don't know if you know anything about being an Eagle Scout, but it is a very rigorous process, one of the most difficult for a young person these days. He's also a student athlete and probably the most award-winning athlete Alcott College Prep has ever seen. He is kind, He is a friend to everyone, and he is well loved by his peers. This year's winner is Tony DeLira. Mrs. Silva said, Tony has accomplished so much in high school. He has represented Alcott in competitions and other organizations. I feel honored to have had the opportunity to work with him, and his peers love him. Ms. Beyer said, Tony's passion for his schoolwork was a breath of fresh air. He was someone I could always count on for participation and help. Tony was always open to sharing his experiences and listened to all of his peers. He is someone that teachers, staff, and students can trust and depend on if they ever needed help. Congratulations to Tony and all of our other honorable mentions. We wish you luck in your future, and we hope that you will all come back and visit us at Alcott. Thank you all very much. Congratulations.
Alexander Alvarenga. Allison Arevalo. Jesus Ayala. Muhammad Bala. Darius Barrios Dennis. Zena Bolden. Brianna Borges. Clarissa Cabrera. David Carano. Angelina Chavez. Natalie Delgado. Anthony DeLira.
Congratulations, Alcott Class 2020. We did it. I wish you all good luck in the future.
Darian Dorch. Esbaidi Figueroa. Enrique Flores. Alejandra Garcia. Elizabeth Garcia. Manuel Garcia. Raquel Glover. Isabella Gonzalez. Ismael Gonzalez. Armani Green. Adrienne Harmon. Tawny Hawthorne. David Eli Hernandez.
I just want to say thank you to all my friends and family who supported me along the way, and I also want to say thank you to God and thank you to Alcott.
Emmanuel Hernandez. Jeremiah Hines. Yailin Hinoyosa. Wisdom Imani. Dimitri Irwin. Kobe Jones. Nicholas Lawson. Anahi Leva. Melina Leva. Henry Liberato. Daniel Lim. Luis Lopez. Sochi Lorenzo.
I'd like to say thank you to my friends and family for supporting me, but most importantly to my parents who have stuck by every decision that I have made along the way. Thank you.
Daniel Luna. April Manjarez. Edgar Martinez. Yamile Martinez. Dariel Mercado. Nathaniel Merlin. Natalie Montoya. Ruby Mora. Alexa Noriega. Fernando Nunez. Jacqueline Olea. Anthony Perez. Rajay Person. Denny Paragacci. Sinric Pigram. Brianna Reyes. Nicole Robles. Jacina Rodriguez. Manuel Ruiz. Malin Ruiz. Alexis Santiago. Elise Sedlak. Elise Sedlak. Alexandra Stepien. Tajay Street. Catherine Suarez. Ismael Torres. Vicente Vargas. Sarah Vasquez. Christian Villela. Dejanay Wade. Emily Wilczewski. Isaac Williams.
My name is Brianna Reyes. I'm the valedictorian of Class of 2020. Graduates of the Class of 2020, please rise for the conferring of your diplomas. Miss Moody, it is my privilege to present to you these candidates for a diploma from Alcott College Prep.
By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Education of the City of Chicago, and with certification of all graduation requirements, I confer upon you the diploma from Alcott College Prep High School of the Chicago Public Schools, with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Hello, my name is Daniel Lim. I'm the salutatorian of the Class of 2020. Members of the Class of 2020, as a symbol of your graduation from Alcott College Prep, you may now turn your tassels.
Congratulations, graduates of Alcott College Prep.